Have you ever wanted a shirt where I'm throwing 3 blue shells at Pink Gold Peach? Well, you can buy them today. They are on sale until August 1st, so get one while you can. Links in the description.
Oh, and it's been 20 years. You remember the actual date? It's June 23rd, 1996. Can you believe that? 20 years.
Yes, sir. Your dinner tonight consists of small condensed squares of French toast and potato crisps.
Wow, those turned out really well.
Here you are, my dear.
Wow, it's great.
And for you, my good sir.
Oh.
And of course, the potato crisps. Shut up.
Thanks.
Don't speak to me.
And now, for the best part.
Number 10. So this has to be one of my top 3 favorite Kirby games of all time. The main gimmick behind this game is having the ability to mix and match power-ups. So if you want to mix, say, Burning and Ice, Spark and Bomb, Needle and Cutter, whatever you can think of, it's possible. This is quite honestly my favorite gimmick that the Kirby franchise has ever introduced because it's forced the developers to get really creative with the powers you can collect. Now, you can still kind of do this in some of the newer Kirby titles. As an example, you can mix Fire and Sword and make a Fire Sword and Squeak Squad, but the idea isn't taken to the heights that it is here. While I will admit that a large majority of the levels are simple and easy, that's okay because there's always new combinations to learn and try out, and I'm pretty satisfied with just that. While this game is on the short side, there's plenty of replay value in trying to collect all the gems, and there's even a few multiplayer games. My favorite multiplayer game has to be Checkerboard Chase, where you try to eliminate other players by turning the blocks in front of you into your own color, making them fall somehow. I mean, wow, they must all be magicians, guys. Why else do you think the magic ability is a thing, huh? This one is really fun because you have to keep track of who you're trying to eliminate, as well as make sure you don't get eliminated yourself. I feel like most people wouldn't put this game on a top 10 list, but being able to combine power-ups makes for a fun and riveting experience. Number 9! This is the one that changed the way we look at fighting games, and it still holds up pretty well to this day. Super Smash Bros. You play as a bunch of Nintendo characters and bash it out on Nintendo-themed stages. What I really like about the first game is the simplicity of everything. This was one of those games that really opened up my imagination. I also really enjoy all the things you can do in single player. There's the classic mode, target test, and board the platforms. It might not sound like a lot in comparison to the newer titles, but all of these modes are still a blast to play. Classic mode allows you to gain skill with all the characters. Target test and board the platforms all have distinct levels for each character, which is another way of really learning how everyone plays in the game. I also love the narrator. He sounds so epic, but at the same time has a 90s vibe. It's hard to describe. Just hearing him yell, "Super Smash Brothers!" He's just so freaking excited. He's literally a hype train before Etika took over. I mean, the narrator doesn't sound nearly as enthused in the newer games. Let's be real. And we can't forget that this game has the best Star Fox stage out of them all. It's just the right size compared to the others. Number 8. Oh yes, the classic Mario Kart 64. Some of you may think Smash Bros is way better than this, but I just have more fun with racers than fighting games. Now, there's a lot of reasons why this game isn't higher on the list. The drifting isn't that great, and it can make the core gameplay a tad wonky, but everything else is just amazing. One thing that I really noticed about this game is that Mario talks to you. A lot. He says things like, "Welcome to Mario Kart.
Select your player data option.
Yeah, he actually says save data an option. I don't know why, but Mario is so pumped up, and you can hear it in his voice when he speaks, and I just adore that. There's a lot of really memorable choruses, including Wario Stadium, Rainbow Road, Toad's Turnpike, and so on. What's awesome about these choruses is that almost all of them actually feel and look really different. The greatest part of this game has to be the battle mode. There's only 4 different maps to play on, but one of those happens to be the best battle map of all time. Block Fort. There's 4 different colored areas, 3 different levels, and a bottom floor. The design is simple but also so deep. You constantly have to move from floor to floor, figure out how to trap your opponent and hit them with items. I mean, so much strategy can be used in this map because it's so open to it. I can't forget to mention the music. It's nothing more than classic. Now, I know I have some bias because I did grow up with Mario Kart 64, but just hearing Rainbow Road sheds a tear to my eye every time I hear it. And I don't really build emotional connections very easily because of my cold pink gold heart, but this game gets me, and that is powerful. All the music tracks are energetic, fast-paced, and really fun to listen to.
Number 7.
I've personally never been that big a fan of Pokemon spin-off games, but the Nintendo 64 brought us 2 luxuries, one being Pokemon Snap. For this game, you basically just take pictures of Pokemon. I know that might sound really boring, I mean, come on, all we do nowadays is just take pictures of ourselves and not what's actually going on around us, but the execution in Pokemon Snap made for some really intriguing gameplay. There's several different areas to play in, and your character is on this cart that automatically moves forward. Some of the Pokemon are out in the open, and you have to try to snap a shot of them. It can't just be any picture though, you're actually graded on the quality of your image. Professor Oak judges you on appearance, size, and so on. Isn't that so cool though? It's so creative how it works. How does the game even know how to judge an image though? That must have been really hard to program. You also have items like an apple or a pester ball to help you get to Pokemon that are hiding out in the wild. There is so much replay value to this game. For your first time through, you probably won't capture half the Pokemon that are actually in the level. I find that it's a lot of fun trying to be a perfectionist and trying to capture the best possible picture that I can for the Pokemon. Well, there's only 63 Pokemon in the game, there's still more than enough to hunt down. This is one of those games that's screaming to be remade or given a sequel to on the Wii U, but that won't happen. Bet you $5 it won't. If it does, I'll donate $50 to a random subscriber during a stream, and I actually mean that.
Number 6.
This may be hard to believe for people that have been following me for a while, but this is actually the first Zelda game that I've ever beaten in my life. I know, I'm kind of a Mario and Mario Kart nut. Anyway, Ocarina of Time. Oh my goodness, is this game one hell of a thrill ride. This is the first 3D Zelda to come out, and it's quite a hit, as I'm sure you all know already. The main thing added to this game is now a staple to 3D games, and that is auto-aim, or Z-targeting. This makes combat much more manageable, and it's not just simple button mashing either. There's some enemies where you need to be dodging attacks and shielding and stuff like that. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth about the game because there would be too much to talk about and I could go on for an hour or so. I do have to say that I just love the music. My favorite track has to be Kakiro Village. The music is so soothing and it makes you feel like you're at home. It's so comforting. I remember playing on a day when I was in a really bad mood, but just hearing this song cheered me right up. And also, I don't understand why people complain so much about the water temple. It really wasn't that bad. If anything, the boss was more annoying. What really hit home about this game was the ending. Before facing Ganondorf, you have to destroy 6 barriers which tests all of your skills. This is simply ingenious. You feel like all the equipment you've gotten has actually paid off and it wasn't just a one-time use. Everything is used to defeat Ganondorf. Then when you do defeat him, you can just tell that it isn't the end. The game teases his final form by making you run down the castle and it's crumbling to pieces. After that, you fight the beastly Ganon, and man is he hard. It's so refreshing playing difficult bosses. A lot of them are pretty challenging for me because they took a lot of hits and their sweet spots were not easy to aim for. When you beat him, you feel a deep satisfaction watching him go, and man, the credits really sink in everything you've accomplished. You really go through so much. This game is so great, and now I'm motivated to play all the others so I can finally start making Zelda top 10s.
Number 5.
Dude, Pokemon did really well on the Nintendo 64. So let's talk about Pokemon Puzzle League. This is a puzzle game where you have to get matches of 3 or more to clear pieces. You can play against other computers, other humans if you know anybody else, and more. While this may sound really generic and kind of lame, I don't think that's the case at all. After making a match, any pieces from above will fall to the bottom. If you get one of those falling pieces to land right into another match, that creates a combo, and you can do this infinitely until you run out of matches. The satisfaction of just getting one combo is exhilarating. There's a lot of manipulation manipulation of the pieces that you have to go through to pull this off generally, so playing combos is pretty sweet. The campaign mode is simply playing against people from the Pokemon TV show / the game. It can actually be pretty difficult, especially if you're playing on V-Hard or S-Hard mode. Holy crap, does the game kick into overdrive. I especially love all the voice clips when I'm being threatened of losing. Tracy says,
Oh, man!
and now it's become an inside joke with my friends. Puzzle League is mainly played in a 2D perspective, but there's also a fun 3D mode where the pieces are in a 2D 0.5 sort of point of view. It doesn't really change the gameplay that much aside from the fact that the pieces wrap around each other, but it was still a nice touch to include. There's also some side stuff that you can do where you have to get rid of all the pieces on the screen in a certain amount of moves. This really reminds me of the puzzle mode from Collapse. There's a pretty hefty amount of game in Puzzle League. It can be played in a casual perspective as well as competitively. Now some of you may be like, why is this higher on the list than any Zelda game? Well, this game just fits who I am and how my life works. A game like The Legend of Zelda is a wonderful experience, but it takes up a lot of time and you kind of need to play them all at once so you don't forget too much about what had happened. I prefer games like Puzzle League because it allows me to continue my busy life while still enjoy games leisurely. The older you get, the sooner you realize you don't have all day to play a video game. You may only have an hour or two if you're lucky. I prefer playing games in short spurts anyway, not so much in hour-munching sessions.
Number 4.
My heart breaks when I see new Mario Party games. First, everyone's thrown into a cart, and now I don't even quite understand what's going on in Star Rush. Did Nintendo really forget what made Mario Party so fun? Well, what happened to the old developers of these games? Hudson Soft was bought by Konami, but a majority of the employees moved to Nintendo-owned company ND Cubed, which is now the new developer. They make games like Mario Party 10, and Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, and Wii Party U. Anyway, let's look at the first game in the series. For anyone that's never played the older titles, the goal was to collect the most stars and coins. You do this by hitting a dice block and moving around a board and playing a minigame at the end of everyone's turn. Now the first Mario Party is mean and unfair to everyone. As an example, when you lose in some of the minigames, the winner gets 10 coins and everyone else loses 5. That's right, you can lose coins just because you lost a minigame. Landing on Bowser spaces are actually a huge problem too. He will take anything from 20 to 50 coins or even a whole star. In chance time, whew, that's a whole other ball game. You might gain coins, lose all of them, swap stars with someone else, or give them all away to your worst enemy. To me, the unfairness of this game makes me love it more because everything you have is more valuable. Losing even 10 coins is such a huge deal because of how hard they can be to earn since you're constantly losing your stuff. It makes you really care about what you own as a player. And on top of that, most of the minigames are a blast. A large majority of them have actual substance and require you to really think and strategize how you're playing. It will probably always be my favorite Mario Party game. That is unless they remake it in HD and add an online mode. That would just make my nuts shrivel.
Number 3.
So, Banjo-Kazooie. This is a game that I played just for this top 10 to see if I would like it. Boy, have I been missing out. This game plays a lot like Super Mario 64, but the pace is a bit slower. I personally love games that move quickly, but Banjo still offers up so much. All the levels you go through are sized perfectly. None of them are too big or too small. There's also a pretty big variety of moves you can use too. The idea of unlocking moves is really novel. The cool thing about this game is that each level throws new challenges at you for every level. It's always fresh. One minute you're swimming through tunnels, and the next you're flying in the air. Then you gain the ability to become temporarily invincible at will. You can even poop out eggs for those that love their fart jokes. In general, these may sound like basic things that most platformers do, but since you unlock moves as you go, doing all of these new things feel more special. It's like you're really growing up and learning the deeper you get into the experience. And another thing, Banjo's noises are hilarious. I really love games that have quirky sound bits, but they aren't so quirky that it's annoying. Now, some people complain that all this game does is make you collect stuff, and that is the main concept. However, I never found this tedious because you're constantly having to learn new moves to collect whatever it is you have to collect. It's a pretty solid experience, and I don't know why I never picked this up earlier on.
Number 2.
And here's the shocker of the year. Super Mario 64 is not number 1 on my list. But Nathaniel, you said that's your favorite game 1,000 times. Yeah, I did, but guess what? Opinions change over time. So Mario 64. This game is a lot like Banjo and Kazooie, actually. I prefer this one over that because it's much faster paced. While Banjo has more moves, I feel like Mario's moveset is much more interconnected with one another. You can seamlessly go from running, to jumping, to diving, to long jumping. I also think that there's more variety in this game compared to Banjo. You don't have to always focus on collecting stuff. In Super Mario 64, you'll have to fight off bullies, steal a star from a bird, blast your face into a wall, race a Koopa. I mean, I could go on for a while. All the music is absolutely amazing. I strangely like the credits music the most. The reason is, this game takes you on a huge journey. You explore deserts, volcanoes, water palaces, the insides of a clock, and so much more. The tone of the song allows you to reminisce on everything you've gone through. The game even shows you every world you've traveled through. The Bowser fights are some of the most creative we've had. You grab him by the tail and chuck him at conveniently placed bombs. I mean, how great is that? While the graphics are admittedly pretty ugly, the colors are very bright and easy to see. I'm very much a color kind of person, and Mario always provides that for me. It was honestly very hard to pick whether to put this game over Banjo, but I think this one is slightly more fun in general. Now look, I've missed so many great Nintendo 64 games, but picking is so difficult. There's so many great ones that I could pick. You know, there's something really special about Diddy Kong Racing. There's no other racing game quite like it. The only one that I can think of that kind of compares is Crash Team Racing. This is a racer with an adventure mode, an actual campaign. You go to different worlds in a large hub to do the races. Plus, there's things to do outside that. Once you complete the adventure mode, you can unlock Adventure Mode 2, where the races are harder and you play all the courses flipped. There's even boss races. Now, how often do you see that in racing games? And I mean like actual physical bosses, not just other cars. The character selection is also incredibly diverse. We'll probably never see a game ever again that features Diddy Kong, Banjo, and Conker. This game even innovates with its multiplayer too. You can of course do the races like normal with up to 4 people, but there's other unique modes where you have to take an egg and bring it back to your own base. And to think that I haven't even brought up the fact that there's 3 different vehicles you can drive in. You can drive in either a car, plane, or hover. Hover, I can't freaking talk. All these vehicles control differently, and some tracks let you try out multiple vehicles instead of just one. I mean, let's be real. This game, it's strive for originality. You know, we really need that Diddy Kong Racing too, Nintendo. Please, throw in Yuka from Yooka-Laylee. That'll be a fun bonus. This game might not have the biggest fan base, but man, are they passionate for a new game. We gotta see a new one come out. Please, make this happen someday. I have a top 10 on the ugliest and sexiest Nintendo characters. You might be interested in those videos. Leave a like if you want to, and tell me what your favorite Nintendo 64 games are and why. Hop on the bandwagon and follow my Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Tumblr. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day and just chilling in bed, not really doing anything. I'm sure it's a great time. Now make sure to watch my cool Games Grabber ad after this. You'll like it, I'm sure.
Hola,
Hello.
¿has escuchado de Games Grabber?
Have you ever heard of Games Grabber?
Games Grabber es como Amazon para videojuegos, donde puedes encontrar mis videojuegos, amiibo y más para comprar.
Games Grabber is like Amazon for video games, where you can find games, amiibo, and more to purchase.
El link está en la descripción.
The link is in the description.
Nathaniel huele un calcetín lleno de pipí.
Nathaniel smells like a pea-drenched sock. What?